Hey everybody, so it's been a little bit, so I wanted to make a video responding to your comments. New setup today. I'm in my living room / kitchen, trying to see what this looks like in here. Let me know what you think if you like it. Yes, that is Batman and Robin making out behind me, so there's that. It's a queer space. I am a bisexual person, hence Batman and Robin macking behind me. Hopefully you're cool with that. If you're not, there are plenty of straight photography YouTubers out there. Go watch their channels. Anyway, enough of that. I know that might be of no interest to you at all, and that's okay. I was gonna take that off the wall, but then I decided, no, it stays. So let's dive into your comments and get a conversation going. And just to put this out there, I'm responding to those of you who are publicly subscribed to the channel. I appreciate everyone who watches the channel and who comments, but I really want to feature subscriber comments. So that's what this series is for. So thank you to all of you who comment on the videos. If you want to be featured in these responding to comments videos, make sure that you are publicly subscribed to the channel. And thank you to all of you for engaging with this conversation, because really what these videos are for is to get a conversation started in the comments. So thank you for watching and commenting down below. David Jennings says, how do you like using this lens on your R6, Zach? This is in response to my Canon EF 50mm 1.2 video. So the Canon 50mm EF 1.2 is still one of my favorite lenses of all time. I love the way it feels on the camera. You know, it's a good compact size for a quality prime lens. Still hefty, certainly, but not nearly as hefty as some of the new RF glass. I love the EF because it just makes everything look magical. I shoot a lot of weddings, and most photographers that I work with have this lens because it just turns reality into magic. I've been having this issue though when connecting it to my EOS R6. Even when using the Canon EF to RF adapter, there's a connection issue, which has been a big problem for me in recent weeks. I was talking to a photographer a few weeks ago who had this exact same problem with her 50mm, but it turned out it was the lens itself. So don't really know what's up there. Might need to send my lens off to be repaired, but that's the only issue I've had, is adapting it to the RF cameras. Usually works flawlessly, but for the past couple of months, it's been problematic, which has been really a big bummer for me. So I need to figure that out, but otherwise, love this lens. Tiru Nash says, the beautiful creamy dreamy effect of the EF lens makes you float on a vivid dream of ecstasy, which other lens fails. This is the reason why I still holding on to the EF version, even after switching to mirrorless. Exactly what I said. This is probably like a better way to describe it. Just makes everything look magical. So thank you so much for watching. CT says, I had an X100V, then bought a Leica Q2. It pains me to say it, but the X100V is just a better camera. Autofocus is better, low light, high ISO is way better. The X100V lens is stellar given the price, and 35mm lens is more versatile than the 28mm. It may not have the Leica panache, but at a quarter of the price, who cares? So this is in response to my shooting portraits with the X100V. Yeah, so obviously lots of personal opinions here, but I can totally see where you're coming from. For the price compared to something like the Leica Q2, you're getting a lot with the X100V. Do you need that extra resolution of the Q2? I don't know. That's a question that you'll have to answer yourself, but certainly the X100V packs a big punch for what it is. Jerico Mendoza says, I miss your videos, please post more often. Thank you for that kind comment. Yes, I'm trying to do that. Been super busy recently, but definitely want to keep the YouTube thing going. So as quickly as I can, I'll get YouTube videos up for all you guys. Philip Smith says, thanks for the update to your opinion on the R6. I'm a new hobby photographer. I primarily shoot wildlife landscape and will probably stick to that going forward. I currently have a T6i, and I'm thinking the R6 is the next best step for me. Budget isn't necessarily the end factor, as I will wait to buy the right piece if I can't afford it currently. It seems to me the R6 is worth the extra money versus the 90D. This review brought up several points that helped me down the road. Thanks for all your hard work. So this is in response to my R6 review. The first one, I think. Thank you so much, Philip, for watching. I'm so glad that the video helped you. I think the R6 is completely worth the money. I mean, it's my workhorse camera. I use it for video and photo. I use it all the time. It makes me love what I do. It's the greatest tool that I could have for what I do, beyond worth it for me. So yeah, I totally am with you there. I think it's good if you can to wait until you have the funds to buy something that'll actually be worth it for you. And I think the R6 is a really great choice. So thank you for watching. Glad it was helpful. Saint the Barber says, been debating the 28-70 or this for my weddings. Such a rough choice. So this is in response to my RF 70-200 f2.8 review. Ideally, you would have both a 24 or 28-70 and the 70-200. I recently bit the bullet and bought the RF 24-70 2.8, which I'm shooting this video on right now. So happy to have this lens. I've never had a zoom lens in this range, but I bought it knowing that I'm shooting a lot of video now and I really needed something in this range. This lens is incredible. I shot a wedding with it yesterday, and basically the whole day I was shooting with the 24-70 and the 70-200, and it was epic. And I have to say that the RF glass is really phenomenal despite the size and the expense. The quality of the images that come from this lens, the autofocus, it's incredible. The other thing is that these lenses are so sharp and so beautiful. They sort of look like prime lenses. That extra stop, down to 1.2 certainly lets in a lot more light than 2.8. But first of all, if you're shooting more than one person, you're not going to want to stop down that low. And secondly, since the R6 handles low light so well, you don't always need to. Certainly you'll have to shoot at a higher ISO, which could introduce noise, but in my experience, you can have really high ISOs with the R6 and still produce phenomenal images. So for me, f2.8 is more than wide enough for a lens that is this beautiful and a system that works this well. But anyway, so that didn't really answer your question. I think if you're shooting weddings, you really need all of the above, because you're going to be in some circumstances where you're in a tight space and you need a wide lens, or you're capturing a big group of people and you need a wide lens. But then you're going to be at ceremonies where maybe the couple's way down the aisle in a church or something, and you need a long lens, or you need that long lens to capture emotion and faces at receptions. So I think for me, if you're really serious about shooting weddings, something to consider getting both, or at least having a wide prime and then the 70-200. But yeah, it is a tough choice. Which do I get? Hard to know. John Steinbeck says, the R6 is the sleeper camera of 21-22 for stills and vids, a true professional camera with access to the best lenses RF. So this is in response to my 5 reasons to buy an R6 in 2022, and I couldn't agree with you more. It's incredible. But actually, I think photographers are catching on. The last wedding I shot, I was second shooting video, and I was shooting on 2 R6s. The lead videographer was shooting on the R6, and both photographers were shooting on the R6. We all had the R6. The other group of wedding videographers that I shoot with, we all shoot with the R6. So it is a camera that I use quite a bit, and that a lot of my colleagues in the industry, at least locally here in Southern California, also use. So it might not be too sleepy. I don't know, but you're certainly right. It's an incredible camera, as we've already established. And sorry, I won't go on about it anymore, but I probably will. King Sam says, check out Jamie Windsor. He makes some really unique stuff. So this is in response to my Nirav Patel, actually worth buying his presets video. Of course, I know Jamie Windsor. I have his presets. They're amazing. I love his channel. I'm sure all of you are familiar with him. Thank you for that suggestion, though. I would love to do a video on his presets. I think the ones that I own are the medium format film presets. So thank you for that. I will get to work on that one. Jam Teo says, thank you. What is your Fuji setup these days? So this is in response to my Fujifilm 23 versus 35mm video. I don't shoot Fujifilm anymore. I did just put out a video about shooting with the X100V. I like Fujifilm. I still think that the cameras are great for what they are. They're a lot of fun. I love the profiles that are built in. I love shooting to JPEGs. For me, I just decided that the R6 and the Canon system was where I wanted to invest. The cameras let me work how I want to work. They produce the images that I want to produce. The quality is what I want my work to be. So that's why I stick with the Canon cameras over something like Fujifilm. But I still appreciate using Fujifilm and will continue to use their cameras for videos here on YouTube or just to experiment because I'm curious about what they're putting out. I think it's a great company and they're making some really cool stuff. So I'm not shooting Fujifilm currently, but certainly interested in talking about their cameras in the future. Thanks for watching. Philip Zverinya says, hey Zach, what lenses are you actually using or could recommend? Native RF, adapted, curious, not sure what to buy first for my R6. This is in response to my 5 reasons to buy the EOS R6 in 22 video. So good question. I think that the really great thing about the R system is that Canon's now putting out budget-friendly RF native lenses. So you could look at the 35 1.8, the 50 1.8 or the 85 f2. Those are all great options at a reasonable price that they're native, and honestly they're fabulous lenses. I've used the 35 a lot. I have that lens. It's great for video especially. The 50 millimeter is also really good. I rented that a few weeks ago to shoot some portraits and was blown away by the quality of that lens. If you're looking at something more substantial, I would definitely recommend the zooms that have come out. Like I said, the RF 24 to 70 2.8 and the RF 70 to 200 2.8 are phenomenal. Also, the 70 to 200 f4 is a lot cheaper. It's so small and so good. So if you're interested in saving a little bit of money and you don't need the wider aperture, you could look at that for a long zoom lens. But really, all the RF lenses I've used have been pretty stellar. So it's probably hard to go wrong. And as far as adapting lenses, in my experience, it's worked really, really well until I started having this issue with my 50 millimeter. The issue is a connection to the camera. It says that the lens loses its connection even when I'm using the Canon adapter. It's really frustrating. And it's a really big problem to have when you're shooting weddings and proposals like I am. So I just found that recently it's been sort of unreliable to adapt lenses. Once I figure that out, I'm sure it will be fine because it's never been an issue since I bought the EOS R years ago. Adapting lenses has been completely fine and actually makes them better than they were on the EF mount cameras. So don't know what else to say about that. Vic Placido says, I'm just an R6 owner watching R6 videos. I can relate. And here we are again talking about the R6, shooting on the R6. I really need to find something else to talk about on this channel. So that wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience as I'm putting out new videos sporadically. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video and comment down below. Let's get a conversation started. I'm sure that people have questions, thoughts, comments about what we discussed in this video. I would love to hear from you in the comments. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Leave me a comment and hopefully you'll be featured in the next video. I know it's not really much other than me talking about you to this camera, but hopefully that's helpful and hopefully some of your questions get answered. Thank you as always for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye. Love is free.